Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. Wait, why is there a crock pot there? And there. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark. I guess he's on the porch. And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. Happy, happy, happy. Why the hell are we here on a Saturday? Well, I was catching up on my Foodie Beauty, and it was quite interesting, the content that was coming up. It was also time to have an early dinner, so I'm having some ramen and a yogurt. Now, this is an unannounced live just because the mood hit, and I thought tonight's scheduled content is going to be a members only live that we're going to have at 6 o'clock. It'll be a Q&A, so do feel free to, if you're a member, to stop by or join if you're interested. But we're going to catch up a little bit with food and with Foodie Beauty. I just watched the last thing where she's out on her porch and Sala throws water in her face. We can call it a drink. There's a drink in her face. Yeah. Hey, Mick, how are you? Unannounced. Just kaboom. Just here we are. Here we are. I was trying to find a time that I think I could do it, and like I said, we have other content that we were going to put on tonight, so rather than do that, I thought, let me get in early in the day, share a few thoughts, have a little lunch. Good morning, Seafood Pie. How are you? Good morning, good morning. Hey, Shauna. So, yeah. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up. I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's safe. It's been beautiful the last 2 days. We had storms that were about to destroy us, it seemed like, but then the weather got a little better, which is good. You're getting ready to leave work. You're on your way out the door. And here I am, doing my Foodie Beauty employment. Eating and gossiping. So since it's been beautiful, and Mark's sleeping in a little bit today. He slept in a little bit, and now he's outside on the porch, kind of, getting his thoughts together and kind of waking up, having a cigarette, coffee, all that stuff. So I figure I'll leave him alone. And I was thinking of filming a video, but Mark does the editing, and he prefers to do the editing, which means I, can't do it with his satisfaction, to his satisfaction. So I thought, well, I'll go live and we'll talk, and rather than having to film and then edit, and then by then she usually does some other dumb shit anyway. Usually does anyway. So I forget it's a Friday. In my head, I'm thinking Saturday. I'm off today. I have a scheduled day off today. So I'm just taking all my friends who are at work, you can eat it. Tough. I'm having ramen on an early day. Hard-boiled egg. See, it sounded gross to me at the time. Patrick, hello. Mayor, hello. Jay, hello. Yeah, Mark's off today, too. He took an unscheduled day off. I have a scheduled day off. Every other Friday, I'm only scheduled to work half a day, from 9 to 11:30. But if I want to, I can use 2 hours or 2.5 hours of paid time off and take it and have a whole paid day off with it. So that's what I did. And most Fridays I do. Some Fridays, if I have work to do, I don't, and I go in. So. Oh, I don't know about you and she whose name ought not be spoken, Mayor. When she was getting skinny, she was living on a dozen eggs a day. How do you think a small studio apartment would smell with one 6-foot woman eating nothing but a dozen eggs a day? I think the paint would peel. Personal thought. But, oh, of course you know. Eat raw ramen in school. I did not actually in school, but there was another institution I was in where we ate a lot of raw ramen. You'd rip the packet open and then put the seasoning packet in, break it up. If you have solid teeth, you can eat them like potato chips. They're kind of crunchy. I don't trust my teeth to not snap by eating raw ramen, but yeah. And in college, not as many people had ramen as I would have thought. I mean, we were broke. I don't know. It seemed like people were living on real food. I had a friend who she would buy a bag of rice a week, and that's about what she would live on. She would just make an enormous pot of it with a lot of butter to make it fatty, and that's all she would eat for the week. I'm like, she was very pretty. I guess the rice is good for your skin. I don't know. Chicken ramen is raw ramen crushed up with chicken stock powder on it. Sounds tasty. It's texture. Like, I'm getting to the point now where I'm thinking, corn on the cob? Is that not an option anymore? You know, can I not? So, discharges, no emergency vouchers, no support services till Monday, whatever possible could go wrong. Very salty. Well, I'm feeling spicy today. I almost put the salty shirt on. Almost put the salty shirt on. I was watching Man versus Food or whatever that show is, the guy who eats weird stuff. And they were having Korean street food, and it was like corn, cooked corn with cheese. Whenever I see Korean food advertised on TV, there's a lot more dairy in it than like other East Asian foods that I've seen. Not that no one has none. It just seems like, wow, there's a lot of cheese in Korean food. And I remember the Korean cheese dogs that our fair lady went to go get. That was a bit of a road trip when we went to get corn dogs. I forgot about that. There were these big, giant ones, and they were around the time that she was stalking Natter. So, yes, Jay, we're going to take the channel a new direction, and it's going to be all crockpots. All crockpots. So, I keep getting text messages telling me to send money to different politicians. It's my own fault. You send one text to one cause, and the next thing you know, everyone's coming at your door begging. Like I'm Carnegie. Like I have all the money in the world to give away. They want to share the $5 I have to give to candidates I support? Fine. But, so whatevs. Well, there's not much of a beginning to start from. We're just sitting down. I was refreshing the most recent video Foodie did. She was sitting on the porch. She didn't really show it. I'm guessing it's like an outdoor, high-sided, veranda-y type thing. Probably very pretty. Probably the closest thing to a lanai she's ever been on. And she's outside filming, and it's like usual, the streaming is terrible. The content is lousy. The quality of the film is not good. It's going in and out. And she's sweating beyond belief. Sala happens to be awake at the same time. So that's something different, because usually they're not awake at the same time. Usually he's doing this, and she's over there doing that. Or she's asleep, and he's awake. So, yes, Mayor. Oh my god, it's like the 4th of July and there must be 36 weddings going on outside. And you hear the children screaming. She's like, oh, you hear it? They love it. I can't believe this is reality. I can't believe this isn't on a set somewhere where she's legitimately going, oh yeah, the screaming children in the war zone, they just love the sound of fireworks and they love the look of them. Wouldn't you stick your head out the door and see fireworks at some point? She has this idea of indoors being safe. And she feels like in this place, and she's said as much, that as long as you're indoors, you're fine. As long as you're at home, you're fine. She gets the same feeling when she holds up in a hotel room or held up in her room at the villa. She would just find a space where it would be like closed in. This is her little nook and everything's fine within here. She's in control of this space. No one can get into this space. The best she can come up with where she is this home. Not Sala's home. As she elaborates, we find out he's probably a short-tailed neighbor and they're just being nice. Well, not that far apart, but he is a family home and she's welcome, according to her, and they're probably just being nice, to stay because she's Sala's family or they're together or whatever. I imagine her having a little bit of Western money greases the wheels, because her money will go further. You know, she's spent on, in one day, she spent on room service when she was in Qatar, probably what people make in 3 months, from what she described, how the math works out. The health thing, she was faking a health thing. Well, you know, faking the health thing. She said she has a lump on her stomach. No shit. She said it's felt hot to the touch, hot to the bump, and she's given us the usual runaround with her fake medical issues of like, oh, it's this, I feel, and the new Beezers are always ready to like, oh my god, get a Metaflight! And you can hear Sala in the background like, I'm sick of this shit. It's always fucking something. It's always my knee, my leg, my this. And Sala has picked up onto the point where he says it on camera to confirm what all of us think. You know, a lot of us would say, Sala's got to be sick of this. And she said, oh no, he loves me. He'd carry me to the ends of the earth. And then you hear off camera, you are selfish, dum-dum. Wow. I'll say about Sala what I'm supposed to say, what I would say also about Natter, though. Like, I don't know. Chantal fakes something. Never Margaret. She would never fake anything. Chantal just wants the evidence of love. All he has to do is fake love her. All of that's fine. And that flashes back to Natter era. Sala, I'm getting the same thing. Her getting snippy with him is interesting because he was talking about her being a spoiled little brat. We'll say brat. And saying, well, you went to Doha. You went to Doha. You went away for 8 days to go stay in a hotel and rest and hang out and do nothing. And the explanation we were getting is that, well, the family home was under construction. There was not air, there was not running water, there was not the essentials that Chantal would need. And in her defense, if he's just coming back to this place after being away for 30 years, it might not be in great condition. So it sounds like, through disclosure, he wanted her to go to Damascus, which would have been in Syria, big city. I bet there's a McDonald's in Damascus. I bet there is. All big cities have some slant of commercialism and liberal stuff. So no matter where you go in the world, it looks like that a little bit. So I'm sure she could find a hot dog or something with bacon on it there, even for where she is. But she didn't want to do that. She flew. That'd be like, okay, if Mark said, look, you want some space? Fine. Go to your aunt's in Philadelphia. Philly's a 2-hour drive. Where they are in the rural Syria, is supposed to be about a 2-hour drive or so, I guess, from there, or less, to Damascus. And she flew 2 hours. That'd be like if I flew to Florida from New York. Everything's covered in sticky dust because it's been sitting there for 50 years. So, hey, Marlene. Hey, Mike. Everything's been sitting there so long and collecting dust that she's talking about now having to clean everything. Something stinks worse than unwashed foodie. She was also talking about her job duties as she's there, now that she's back. And she was going on and on about the laundry. How much time she spent doing the laundry. And she had to do it by hand, and then she had to wring it out, and then she had to put it up. And then she caught wind of the fact that there could be something close to a washing machine available to her. And Natter didn't let her, Sala didn't let her know. So she's been doing the hand crank thing. I bet it probably tickles him to watch her do chores. I'm sure it does. And I'm sure a lot of people that don't like Chantal would be tickled by the image of her trying to herderple her way around in the sand, trying to hang clothes on the line. She's 5 feet tall. He's 6'2". Everything's going to drag on the freaking ground. How high could she hang it? So, you want to give her a task to do, fine. She will also talk about how many hours she's spending doing this work. It was all day, and I was in the kitchen, and carrying coffee is hard work. For her, it is hard work. I mean, we'll keep it in perspective. It's hard work for Chantal to carry 8 cups of coffee on a tray. But that's the gig. She had this romanticized Western idea of a Middle Eastern princess that she was just going to be on a magic fucking carpet ride, and that Sala was going to take care of everything, and that she would have servants, and that she would have people who would come over and rub her feet and read her the news and feed her cheesy corn and things like that. I don't think she thought of herself as one of the women. I think she thought she'd be Queen Bee, and that there'd be like a lower harem of not bottom bitches below her circling. Again, I'm sounding offensive because I'm trying to read into Chantal's interpretation, because how else could she misunderstand all of these cues and get there? And she's like, oh, I gotta do laundry. What did you think you were gonna do? You don't work. You don't do anything else. And she's trying to build Sala up on camera as much as the two of them were fighting. When he was saying she was selfish and she went away, she said to him, well, you paid for it. So what does that mean? But she cut her trip short, from what I understand. She cut her trip rather short, by about 5 days. So if he prepaid, either he only prepaid for so many days, or the house was done early and he got a refund on a reservation, canceled it, and she came home. Not sure which. But she threw that into his face, saying, well, I only went because you paid for me to go, so whose fault is it? So petulant. The club sandwich filter fail video, where it was like, here we are, and we're still here, and then, like, very bulbous, she starts to emerge from inside, and it's all the flesh, and the rosacea, and the other stuff that goes with it. I mean, I don't know. Bullfrog. Yeah, she had a very Mitch McConnell kind of thing going on here. It was very unsettling. And we gotta remember, like, that's not only is that's what Sala sees. He only got a few of these kind of pictures when she was like trying to finagle him into being a partner. Prettier than 90% of YouTube. She's heavier than 90% of YouTube. She's more obnoxious than 90% of YouTube, but she is not prettier than 90% of YouTube. I don't know who she thinks is out there. Like, she like wants to play big fish in a small pond. And I think she does the same thing in this place she is now. She likes to have her leverage. I'm the one with the car. I'm the one with the money. I'm the one who can do this and that. She needs some way to feel special and above. It's not enough to feel separate from. She needs to feel separate from and above the people she's around. Her only trump card at the moment is her money. She's not physically contributing anything. She's a burden beyond. I'm sure she takes more than she gives. And if this becomes part of like a big, transformation journey, maybe fine, whatever. It's going to be hard for her to hustle up the fast food she loves when she's now going to be under the thumb of Sala. And all of a sudden, they're talking about Sala like he's the savior. He's the man. The little kids in the city, they come and they scream over the compound walls, Sala! Sala! Like he's come and fixed the town. I don't think they look at him as this, like, new patriarch. I think he would like to be. I think he wants what she always wants. All of the credit of the title, but without doing any of the work. Unless he's out still doing foundations. It sounds like he's just bickering with her in the background. While she sweats. I have a napkin in my lap, so that didn't fall too far. That didn't go too far away. But the idea of calling him selfish, if we're going back to the original premise, he's a scammer. Selfish kind of goes in with the scamming identity, to a degree, I would think. If you're going to be able to take advantage of other people and do it with maybe not a clear conscience, but not enough to stop you. Not enough to stop you. Somebody in the chat suggested to Chantal that she will probably only be there for a week and she'll be back in Doha by like tomorrow. And that she will not be staying in Syria. She can't, guys. It's just not going to happen. She can't. She's not physically built for it. Whether it's her fault she's 400 pounds or not, dragging a 400-pound ass through all... She's not accustomed to the weather. If anything, she's accustomed to the cold. She's a freaking polar bear. Canadian woman. If anything, she'd be more accustomed to that. So... yeah, he's like me. He has scholarly, delicate, wimpy-looking hands and wrists. I don't think so. The guy gets laid up with a bad toenail, so I don't think he's out there being the man, and running the show and calling shots. He's spending, because he wants the image of things, he'll take her resources, pretend they're his, and get to tell everyone he's the man. The big trump card is now Chantal can hold over his head, I can tell everybody that it's really me, and that you're no kind of man. You're a coward. She loves coward for Middle Eastern men. She knows she's gonna, maybe fuck up and lose a tooth, but she loves the word coward for her strong Middle Eastern men, for Nader, for all the other men that she fights with. Because it gets a big reaction. And any attention's better than no attention, I guess, if you're Chantal. I mean, not just Chantal, but it's one of her hallmarks. She does it particularly well, the needy thing. So... I don't know. Soda break. Soda break. Is anybody else keeping up with this? A lot of the other reactors and whatever, and she hasn't put up anything new in about a day. It's been about 24 hours. So it's been a hot minute. But it's so much of what she's doing now brings back the catalog of Nader stuff. It brings back the whole catalog of things that were going on with him trying to run the show, like he's in charge of everything. And then behind the scenes, she's really in charge of everything. Hey, Elizabeth. And it's not really what it looks like. It's not really what's going on. And it's happening again. She wants a man who's the man, but she'll settle for a man who just looks like the man, who she'll fund. But I don't know. I mean, there's sugar mamas as such. And I guess on paper, it looks like she's a sugar mama. She finds a man she likes, she pays. Yes, Ashley. as part of the crest of this whole live, as they're having a discussion, funny girl, as they're having a discussion, he chucks the cap of the water bottle at her, and she's, God love her, so slick that it sticks to her forehead, and they're honk 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 this that, and then he has a sprayer and apparently spraying it. Funny girl, welcome welcome, spraying. And she's like, oh, Misty, oh, it feels good. She's playing along with it. Oh, it feels good. It feels great. Blah, blah, blah. She's like, actually, he throws water at me all the time. Like she knew it was coming to try to normalize this. And then, chuck, boom, right in her face. You can tell he doesn't like her. First, you throw water. Then you throw food. Then you throw plates. Eventually, you start throwing fists, depending on the kind of guy it is. But she seems to like the kind of guy who's like marginally abusive. In language, let's say dominant. Dominant doesn't have to be abusive. Whether it's real dominant or alpha wannabe dominant, like some of these guys are. If your woman's handing you a 20 and then you go out and buy it for her and you feel like the man, fuck you, you're no man. That's not how things work. And that's not even gender. If I played that role with Mark, let's all be on the up and up with who contributes what to the relationship. And if you're having to lie to keep up appearances, then either move or stop lying. I agree, soul. May that kind of love never find me. I've been very lucky in love. I've had a couple bad relationships, but they were short, thank God, only 18 months. This is the longest one I've ever been in, and we were married. So, she's going to die when everyone comes to visit. This is a collectivistic culture. It's not this... The idea that she would get up on her own by herself and leave and go very far away probably looks funny to the people in the community she's in, because just picking herself up and going alone, I'm sure it looked confusing. You'd go without your husband, you'd go without your family, you would just leave. I'm like, yeah. And I'm sure they know she's different. She's 4 times the size of everybody else, and she's pasty white, even by white people standards. Now she's turning red. You're turning violet. She's turning red a little bit. And when the veil comes with the bullfrog thing down to here, it's also failing with the color correction too. So she's starting to look every bit of her 40 some years. Like, I want to compare and say how ridiculous, but like Amberlynn Reid's bigger than Chantal. I mean, Chantal's big. Amberlynn Reid is just big. I don't know glitter and lasers like that. She's a little taller, I think, than both of them. But she's rather big herself. Could you imagine the absurdity if you saw, Amberlynn Reid say she's going to go move to the Middle East, take up a position as a modest wife? Oh, I'm still going to stream. I'm still going to be an attention whore for money. If that hijab could talk, it would cry. It would weep. I can't imagine it gets cleaned off and she has a hard time keeping up with everyone else's household clothes. And like, she's in the mix now. Like, things don't get done for her. She does now for each other, and everyone looks out for each other. So she doesn't get that, well, even if I don't do my part, it'll all still get done. It's on her to participate, to be part of the family and of the community. What betrays when she does shit like just fly out of town is she doesn't really give a shit. She doesn't really care. This is for show. This is outward bound, and she's so in denial of it that she thinks there's like 4th of July, weddings, quinceañeras, and New Year's, and that there's this constant barrage of fireworks and gunshots, but only into the air. And as she gets confused about the firecrackers, Sala was like, no, that's an automatic weapon. And she's like, oh. The water tanks were empty. It's hard to stay... I know hygiene is different place to place, so some things are priority and not. But I can't imagine not having access to water for any kind of cleaning. I mean, nobody... I can't... Who's that filthy but her? She will, Elizabeth. I do think she'll be going home wherever home... She's going to call some new place home. Somewhere with a different latitude and longitude. Maybe she'll duck around the Arctic Circle. She's going to find the furthest northern place that Muslims hang out, and she'll go try to find guys there. Now, she tried in Canada. The best she could do was natter. I'm sure she wrung out every damn man there. She can't go past the Thailand 7-Eleven. That's dangerous for her, Mare. In her condition, she could eat herself to death. She's better off to stay in the room and just order in. Or did you miss that discussion? Yeah, after climbing Everest. No, Erie, I hear you, and you're right. Oh, I see you, and you're right. We lost Jen. Well, we'll say what, whatever. Jen died at 47 or 48. You know, she was under 50, but she was getting up there. And Jen progressively went from can't really walk to jazzy to, at the end, she was in the hospital, and I'm assuming she was bedbound at that point. And, you know, she died of something else, but, I mean, couldn't she have fought off whatever she had? She had this lingering case of cancer in the background that was, you know, nowhere to be diagnosed. She had nebulous kind of like weird health problems that she couldn't talk about on camera, and the stories changed, one of those kind of things. Chantal was pretty. She was pretty. She wore clothes that she liked, that she thought fit. Before Natter, she was wearing clothes that she liked, that she thought looked good. She would spend some time on her appearance. She had really, really nice skin pre-filters. And now she's trying to keep up with her youth by thickening the filters. But she was pretty. She was. A little bit Ursula the Sea Witch in the eyebrows. But otherwise, you know, fine. But then the more you get to know, it's like anything else. The more you get to know her, the more you get to know an ugly person, the uglier they start to look. Kind of like you can fall in love or have a crush on someone who maybe you're not super physically attracted to, but you like their style, you like their vibe, you like their smell, you like the way they look, you know, and so it kind of comes from there. So, membership, member, welcome, welcome. We'll be meeting tonight at 6 for a live. It'll just be Mark and I, and we're just going to be doing Q&A, so. Brushing your teeth is what she calls foreplay. She's got like Al Bundy hygiene. You remember that? Where he always had like the feet stunk, and then cologne under the underarms of a dirty shirt was, you know, considered to be a shower. Digging in his ear all weekend. Like she's got Al Bundy hygiene, pretty much. For how much she eats, she really should be brushing. And if you look at Chantal dead on, these two front teeth look like they were capped or worked on. I would get mine, whatever, that's fine. But on the side, she has damage this way, and you rarely see Chantal in profile. If you do, it's from kind of far away when she's outside. She doesn't get up too close to camera and go and pull back. And it's not far back, it's just like right here. And of all the things, she could spend money on dental. And don't tell me Canadian this and that. Even good dental insurance in America is awful. Unless you have like a union job or work for the government, you probably don't have good dental. That's any of us. But she makes enough she could go get her teeth fixed. You think she would. It's directly related to her eating. If there wasn't a way to very, very, very efficiently find a way to eat more and faster, it would be to fix your effing teeth. Come on. I mean, we have to have priorities here. One must. I lost a noodle. I got the other one back. So yeah. We're about halfway through. Smoke break. Smoke break. So, yeah, we'll be live again tonight if anyone's around here who's going to be in the live. It's members only. It's going to be a Q&A. Some people submitted questions, but we're just going to chill out and talk. Unrated, we'll say, because Mark and I are so risque, right? So anything would be a fair game. Anything would be a fair game question through that. So do look forward to seeing some of you there. I can't predict. Who was I trying to talk to? It might have been Mare. Might have been somebody else with hey, Lynn, how is she going to... What's the next move? Is it back to Canada? She doesn't really have any resources in Canada anymore. You know, someone said she was trying to stoke a fire with Shannon to reopen that, but poor oral hygiene, diabetes, and heart issues kind of run in tandem. And the fact that she thinks that she's just because, oh, I spent a few days overeating, and I spent a few days, you know, indulging myself, that's why I feel sick. It couldn't be the 300 pounds of extra weight, the untreated diabetes, the wildly untreated mental health concerns. She doesn't have her next move planned, but she probably has an escape route somewhere. I think in her head, she'll get to Damascus. She'll probably befriend one of Salah's friends and like leave him for someone richer, because she still wants to be a Muslim princess. She still wants to be a Middle Eastern princess. She just doesn't want to be his Middle Eastern princess. She doesn't want to have to contribute. She wants to be queen. I told you. And have the servants do things for her. You know what, Andy? For how big she is, she could gain a decent amount, water weight, up and down in a week. But Canada don't want, no. Did you see her latest tweet? I don't have it in front of me. I've noticed a tone between Chantal's rage tweets and rage posts, and those rage posts from another individual in the United States who's well known for tweeting. There's a self-important kind of anger. There's a how dare you question me, as though there's absolutely no reason to not, as if any suggestion of dishonesty on my part is so insulting it can't even be taken seriously. There's also a twisting of the truth, which Chantal says, you guys just want to hurt this family. You want to take the money right out of their hands. You just want to take advantage of them. No. You took advantage of the viewers using this family to send you money. That's different. That's different. When people want their money back, that's not to take it out of their hands. It's to take it back out of yours. Would she go on record saying, I didn't spend one single penny that came in. I kept an entirely separate account. It stayed over there, and here's the receipts. She doesn't have to show any to anybody, but she knows as well as any of us who aren't full of shit that there's none. There's none. It was all just a big hustle to rationalize asking for money. Oh, we'll pay for it later. Oh, I don't even know how much it costs now. It was a really fixed amount. And $1,000 in what exchange? Because she probably spent that much in a couple days in a hotel, 4 or 5 days in a hotel with the exchange rate. Maybe she could have taken care of this girl's future. That would have looked very self-serving, but at least charitable on the appearance of it. It's still manipulating a vulnerable situation to your own end, and if there was nothing wrong with it, she would keep, if there was nothing wrong, she would continue as she did originally to have this girl on her channel, to have their Outback. Who needs a whole bloomin' onion? For Christ's sake. That's for $3, a bloomin' onion. Unless you're like, maybe if you just left a Dead concert and there was some really good, maybe you'll want to go eat a whole bloomin' onion on yourself. Yes, we had a little bit of a creepy sneak live. I didn't want to put notice up because we're having a live later, so I just was catching up on Foodie Beauty, and I thought, how disgusting. And just wanted to share some thoughts, and I was going to be eating. Mark slept in. You guys are good company, and it was on my mind. So we found ourselves here, having a little bit of a surprise live. I don't have any news that other people don't have, necessarily. I have opinions, maybe some don't, but I caught up. Usually if I watch reactors, I'm catching up through the ones who are using her footage. And they're clipping up so I can get the first person. I mean, it's still edited, so it's got a level of over the top of it before it even makes it to that reaction or to that video, but trying to keep up from those sources. But I'll listen to a few reactors too. Garlic Bread is one that I listen to, but I think his content's going to be switched now. He opened up Patreon, which I'm not as familiar with. A subscription service, if I understand Patreon right. And will be charging some amount. He says it's pennies a week or something to join and to hear his stuff. And he does more thorough, more of like the old school, I'm here and here's the video and I'm over there reacting to it like, you bitch! That's the old style. And I think he did one of those. I've always thought of doing one of the screens, but honestly, it was just, I could take an afternoon and figure out the technology of it, so could Mark, but we just never got around to it. And then watching someone like, if there's a tone or a vibe going on in the community where Garlic Bread, who uses almost no footage and just still photos, got yanked for having some sort of problem with using content, I don't know how anyone could feel comfortable going around and, I think Garlic's a little full of himself. He makes some good points. That I agree with. But he went through that period, you reap what you sow. How bad does it look to have 4 or 5 videos where you're showing off your numbers and how great they are? and really pointing to yourself as the brilliance behind all of this. Framing it as though, oh no, this is a great reflection on the community, ... that I built. So it was shortly after bragging about that, within a period of time his monetization was gone. Karma's not just for Chantal. So, I mean, that's it. You know, we none of us can pull ourselves out. I mean, there's a lot of judgment and assessment that goes on in the, this community, but that's, not really in a place to judge, especially when it's, Gorlick to Girl World. Yeah, barbecue chicken, Piggy, who's the one? Is it Sansa who does the translating? We'll sometimes translate for stuff that we don't have. So, yeah, it's chilling is what it does feel like, doesn't it? And I couldn't believe, I mean, I remember that, thank you, Gary, thank you. I would follow him because I could get the quick boom all together in one shot, and it would be like a whole video's worth of stuff. Milk Tea is the most thoughtful channel that I watch. It's the most, I don't want to say intellectual. She gets a dig here and there, but only because Chantal has earned a dig here or there. But hers is the most thoughtful. Generally, her disposition is one that I find more relatable to. Like, I don't hate this person. I'm stunned by this person. I don't know if I want to personally know her, but here's what. And she talks about her behavior and not her character maybe as much. So I appreciate that. So Milk Tea is my fave. So. Yeah, well, the thing is, though, didn't Garlic Bread have some sort of thing with, is it Just Breezin' today? Is that the girl's name? And she had a child, and there was a discussion of the two of them having a discussion, and then it reflected really badly on her because there was a kid involved, and really badly on him because they didn't know each other long, or I don't know. He's got a decent voice. I heard he's, he's not the most handsome guy on YouTube, but, we can't all be me. So. The classiest of digs. Yes, they're very Victorian. I love them. They're very, I love it. Because it's relatable, too. Because if you're just sitting there getting digs in, even if they were good digs, there's some well-worded insults that come out in the community. But even if that was all it is, it gets boring after a while. If that's all it is. If there's not anything thoughtful or any discussion or anything put into it. I think that's how French Fry Girl and Yada keep their audiences, because they keep the discussion going. They keep it, it's not just reporting on what she's doing, it's also how does it fit into the bigger timeline of her life. And because most of us have, bizarre interests and too much free time, we know what's going on with Chantal. Foodie Beauty is like a junk food of YouTube consumption. I watch a lot of documentaries. I watch a lot of old wrestling. I watch a lot of infomercials, but I would say the Foodie Beauty stuff is probably more bottom of the barrel than most that I would watch. So, yogurt, anybody? I searched and searched. I went to Wegmans. I couldn't find fruit in the bottom yogurt anywhere. Everything was blended, and trying to find Greek yogurt in a small container that isn't fat-free or 100 calories is very hard, unless you get like Faye or something real. So. Exactly, Andy. Jerry. It's insanity. The woman's in whatever. Now, what Salva's going to do from here is interesting, because I think he's going to, again, use her money to get himself prestige and be the man. Because they came in, and it's going to fix everything. He's going to be the lead of the family. He's going to be the one everyone goes to. Oh, Alex's doll. I love Alex, too. Alex, I like Alex. He didn't live that far away from me. He's a Pennsylvania boy. Or at least he was when I started watching him. And I don't care what anyone says. I like Alex's voice. I think he sounds very sweet. Oh. They're looking at him like, yeah. Insane. And if he's walking around playing the man, but she has to be there for that to happen, I don't think he sees how that makes him look like undermined. Like that's like, no, this isn't really what's happening. Alex is, who's the other one who's kind of not bad looking? What's his name? I can't think. He does lives. He has the beard. He's got an accent of some sort. Australian, maybe. I forget. Pulpy. That's what I'm trying to think of. Pulpy isn't too bad. That's another reactor that I can get on with and watch. Plus, the word pulpy is right up there with moist for me as one of those kind of words. But that aside, you know, he has a nice voice. He's handsome, and he makes some good points. So I like him too. I tend to have him for. There's some reactors I'll watch. Most of them I just listen to. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I would say more than half of what I watch on YouTube, I listen to on YouTube and treat it like a podcast. Because there's not really much to see. Like, even right now, you're not missing much except for the glare on my glasses, me throwing my hands around, and periodically eating something. So if you're only listening to me right now, that's fine. You're not missing a whole lot. But content like videos that I'm listening into like it's radio. Not a podcast, like it's like radio, like it's a radio story. I don't know. His real name is one of your favorite. I don't know his real name. That's my hustle, Andy. This is how I'm going to get big. I'm going to sit around eating yogurt, talking relatively polite shit, a person who doesn't deserve it, and show off my crock pots. I'm telling you, viral. You'll be saying I knew him back when. As my father would say, some people have more nerve than talent. So it goes. Some people have more nerve than money. Sala. So it goes. But he's going to like the position he's in. He doesn't feel like it's any different. Oh, Zach's a nice name. He's not going to really feel this as too much of a difference. It's going to feel elevated to him. I mean, he was living in like a dirty dorm when she got there. Now he's going to have a compound of sorts. So he'll feel like the man because those are the measuring sticks he uses in his culture to feel like the man. I'm in charge of this. People come to me. I'm a respected person in the community. He's gaining this respect and prestige because of some filthy money that his piggy wife brings in. And that's like the worst kept secret that's whispered around the compound is probably that. What does Salah do? He has a good job with his father, doesn't he? What did he do? Who is she anyway? I'm sure they all look at each other and then, like, however polite they may be, they're still given side-eye. They're still given side-eye, no matter how polite they might be about it. So, I mean, could you blame them? It would be so bizarre. A compound. Right next to an amusement park, apparently, because firecracker, sis, boom, ba, booty, beauty, booty, beauty, rah, rah, rah. I know, you can, those are close. Like, I haven't lived hard. I've lived a very charmed life, but I know what gunshots sound like, and you can tell when they're not too far away. I lived in Philly for a number of years, and I lived in some rough spots, so I know gunshots, and I have never, I don't think, heard an automatic weapon being fired. I haven't heard what, the machine gun sounding fire that you would hear. And she's like, what are they shooting? Targets. What are guns for? They're meant to kill, That's the primary thing. If you're shooting and the gun in the air to celebrate, that would be an alternate use of it. If you're using it instead of fireworks, I guess. What do you think they're shooting at each other for? Did you watch the news before you got there? Like, yeah. I love urban living, but there's urban things. You get to hear the sounds of it. I grew up half a minute from the sticks. I can hear a gunshot from miles and miles away, it seems like. Or like a shotgun. Because you get these hillbilly kids who go out there who are monsters that go hunting for squirrels with a shotgun just to watch them, like, explode. I don't know. She claimed it was a wedding. The wedding she didn't clean up after. After saying she was so tired from doing the dishes, but then also said, I still have 8 mugs and 24 platters. No, nobody should be shooting their guns up in the air. You could. When I was in Philly, more so than around here, you'd hear at midnight on New Year's, pop, 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 and then as the bullets have to come down somewhere. Would you be concerned? I would be. So, hey Irene, how are you? You know, the deliberate being naive. She only this time in this live looked like she might have been a little bit scared when she started to hear the rapid fire snap snap really close by, and she really did look a little bit afraid. Oh well, those feelings should have kicked in and scared her enough beforehand. She's choosing a challenge that she doesn't have to. You know, like so much in her life, she's putting herself into a position where she's just going to fail. And then she goes, and she fails. I don't know. Yeah, you would think people would be kind of squeamish about setting off fireworks in a zone where there was a lot of guns and stuff. Yeah, in this small community where Salva's the man, they would have been invited, I would think. It doesn't, they're living in a rural area. Rural to me means like village vibe, you know, not village like primitive tents and teepees or anything like that. I mean like, you know, small community, agricultural stuff, people sharing and trading, like bartering being as much of a thing as buying, intermarriage between families, arranged marriages that are not just for love necessarily, but for other stuff. She says she married for love and she followed him for love, but she's doing everything he says because she's his wife. Well, why am I even here then? Because I'm your wife. He's like, yeah. He sounded so thrilled when she put it out like that. It's like, don't remind me, you know? Don't remind me you're my wife. It hurts enough as it is. But it was a nice little change to see the level of disrespect increase between the two of them. Her talking about him unkindly on camera a little bit. Him throwing water in her face. Which I agree, which was said here, that's not a line that's drawn, necessarily. I don't think that would be the last thing he would ever throw at her. I can't say I blame him for feeling that way. How many of us have wanted to go through the camera and just, I like you this much right in her eyes? It's tempting. It's tempting. And think, he's right there. He's close enough to smell her. She's right there. And he's now starting life over in a place he fled from. If he wanted to stay there, he would have. And he didn't. So he was in Kuwait, and then now he had to return to a place he left with her, because of her, because his options became so limited. Like hers did, his dried up too. I mean, he could ditch her and go do something, but I think he's, you know, mesmerized by the idea of travel and the West and all this other stuff. I think he has gone away with the fantasy of going to Canada. I think it's gone. It's been 3 years now. I don't think it's on his radar that that's going to be somewhere he's going to go or want to go. I can't see it happening again. So, do they go together somewhere else? I don't know. Wherever they can live off her money. They just need a really good exchange rate, but her channel's also tanking. She put up a video the other day about her first time having Filipino food, and it looked authentic. And she got 4,000 views on it. Like, we're talking about Chantal was trying to bank a lifestyle in Canada of making $20,000 a month, paying zero taxes on it, none. Tax-free money, 20 grand a month tax-free for months on end, plus over the period of years. And now it's not like that. The money's not coming in like it did before. If she does have private donors, like the ones who are dumb enough to pay for this little girl's alleged schooling, then they can do what they want with their money, I guess, you know. I did. I sent Chantal a super chat way back in the day. The first video I saw of her where I thought that Natter had put a hand on her, where she had alleged as much. And she seemed genuinely upset. I signed up for her channel, which was $5. I sent a $5 super chat to say, hey, you know, hang in there, things are tough, whatever. And she said, thank you. She said my name and she said, thank you. So she knows who I am. I don't think she has any ill feelings toward me. I don't really have too many to her, except for the lingering disgust. But otherwise, whatever. So, well, where are we at? We are coming up to an hour almost. We're at 50 minutes. Well, I guess since this is an impromptu short, we'll cut it a little short. I have to get myself prepared because we have a live coming up in not too long. So, thank you all for joining me for dinner tonight. We did have yogurt. We didn't finish the ramen, but that's okay. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Contact info is below. If you want to join, membership is listed to be on the Smokey deck. It's $2.99 a month. We only have the one tier. And you'll get access to things like member lives, which we are having tonight at 6 o'clock. So thank you all for joining me on last minute notice. It was a good little chat. And we'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. He's still outside, probably. Bye.